next to me, running on dream. Cause I can't see how this could be reality. You're holding me close and I don't know, do I let you in? Do I let it show? All of my fears and all of my ghosts are the only thing I've ever known.
All right, happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of Morning Coffee with Rick Alexander, of course, on the Lionheart Radio channel. Again, registration for the Clarity Academy is open, so if you're interested, go to rickalexander.com, sign up for either the immersion experience or the online portion. I would love to work through the curriculum with you and help you figure out what you want out of this life. I'm super passionate about that, and also about helping you understand that you actually have all the things you need already. And I know that might sound crazy because we're not taught to be so self-reliant, but I promise you that once you figure out what it is that you want to do, you're also going to understand that you have everything that you need to do that. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about the idea of imposter syndrome. It's something we all deal with. So imposter syndrome is this idea that as you step into a new role, you get this feeling or this idea in your head about something like, who am I to do that, right? And you feel like you're too inferior to step into whatever this role is that you're stepping into. The first thing to understand is that literally absolutely everybody gets imposter syndrome. Like every time you step into something new, you have this idea of, who am I to do this? When I first launched the Clarity Academy, I would have nightmares about how I couldn't possibly be ready to be the person that helps people implement this curriculum. But of course, I've been working through this kind of stuff and interested in personal development my entire life. So if not me, then who? And so that's the kind of question you got to start asking yourself. And I see that a lot just for the people that are interested in coaching and helping other people through. And even if you think about your social media presence, sometimes people don't want to post advice or things that they've learned on there because they think, who the hell am I to tell other people how to live? But here's the thing, you're either qualified to talk about life or you're not. You can't sometimes be qualified to talk about life. You've gone through this human experience in a very subjective way that only you have experienced. And so you've learned things that only you've learned. And that insight can really help out a lot of people. In the personal development space especially, you're really not you're not going to drop some crazy new idea or something. I mean, maybe every once in a while, but for the most part, you're looking for original insight. You're looking to help people understand this stuff in a different way. Who you are is everything that you've been through. And every time you go from thing to thing, you don't take with you the things that you've done. You take with you who you've become in the process of going through those things. And so specifically, if you're looking to coach or help people out in some kind of way, or even share more about your journey, you got to stop being so scared to do so, because you've experienced this life and you've learned lessons that could be immensely beneficial for everybody around you. And you're doing the world a disservice if you don't allow yourself to start offering those things to other people. All right, so that's the first thing. You're not sometimes qualified to talk about life. You either are or you're not, and if you're going through it, you are. That's the first thing. The second thing that I'll tell you is sometimes when we look at something that we want to do, and then we try to go after it, we decide that we don't want to step into that role fully. And the reason we do is because we're looking for some kind of certification or thing to tell us that we're good enough to do that. But you see, if you base what you want to do off certifications and qualifications, now some professions are different, right? So like MD, things like that, dentist, of course there are qualifications that matter, and you don't want to go to somebody that's not qualified. But if that's your role and you've gone through those qualifications, then by definition, you are qualified to do that thing. But when it comes to coaching and personal training and all these other things where there's lots of ways that you can learn. You can learn through school. You can learn through your own personal development. You can learn through experience and really honest self-reflection. And so to think that there's any kind of cert or any kind of ominous dominus thing that says you are ready to teach this thing is an incorrect view of the world. And it's an incorrect view because there are a million ways to skin a cat. And so you have to what a weird analogy, by the way. But there are a million ways to skin a cat. And so you have to be open to the one that's best for you, because we all learn differently and we all process differently. And so that's why a certain certification can't be the thing that says you're ready to do what you want to do or not. It also really can't be experience. And so if you're worried about inexperience, well, then you price that in, right? Because you got to be honest about the amount of value that you can bring to people. But there isn't a certain number or amount of experience that could say you're ready to pursue the life that you want, because that would be a trap. Because how would you ever get there without that experience? And so that can't be the thing either that stops you from going after what you want. And so if it can't be the certification and it can't be the experience, then what is it that would say you actually are qualified to go do the thing in the world that you want to do? Well, I've come up with this idea that the only things that matter are curiosity and innate desire, because those are the two things that are going to ensure that you always get better at that thing. If you have a desire to teach it and a desire to implement it, a desire to help people in this certain way, a desire to do this thing, and you have innate curiosity, so you're going to continue to learn, continue to evolve your knowledge, continue to push forward into unknown frontiers, then you're qualified to do whatever the hell you want to do. Because outside of curiosity and desire, there's not much else that could top that. It's like with the Clarity Academy, I'm not a psychologist. I've spent a lot of time diving into psychology, and that's how I've learned so far. I've also paid psychologists to help me with the curriculum and make sure that it's kind of that I'm making the right moves. But I'm also just intensely curious about this human experience and what the hell we might be doing here. And so I just love lecturing on it and teaching about it and pulling the problem apart from different angles. And whenever a client comes to me with something I've never figured out, I'm so curious about it that I'll spend so much time. I'll spend my whole weekend digging into one little part of their personality just so I can help them. So those are the things, desire and curiosity, those are the things that are going to make you ready. And now the last thing that I want to say, as you kind of contend with imposter syndrome and as you kind of ask yourself, well, who am I to do this thing? If there's a problem in life, it's almost always a matter of focus. I talked about focus a little bit in the Choose Happiness episode a couple of weeks ago, where if you're focusing on the wrong things, it's very hard to be happy. But you actually have the choice of focusing on the right things that will make you happy. Well, when it comes to this, think about this in terms of there's a creator and a creation. Whatever it is that you're doing in the world, I've said this before, but it can't be about you. It's bigger than you. The beauty is that you get to be a part of something bigger than you, and that's why you go after things in life. But when it comes to this equation of doing things that you want to do in this life, there's a creator and a creation. A creation would be what you are doing. You would be the creator. Now, because what you're doing should never be about you, it can energize you. It can give you vitality. It can speak to your soul in a certain way, but you're ultimately doing whatever you're doing for somebody else. And because that's the case, you can't keep your focus on the creator. You have to keep your focus on the creation. And so whatever it is that you want to do in the world, you have to make sure that you shift your focus to the creation. And again, that's what's going to make sure that you give a good product anyway. Like with the Clarity Academy, I can't focus on this being about me. It's not about me. It's about the results that you guys get from going through the program. And so I have to keep my focus intensely on the actual creation so that I can make sure that I get you guys the results that you signed up for. And so if I start focusing on the creator too much, it does start feeling like too much pressure on me. I'm like, oh man, how could I get up there and lecture and do all these things? It's like, man, your focus is all wrong right now. This isn't about you. It never was. Beauty is you get to be part of it if you keep your focus in the right place. And so if you're struggling with some kind of imposter syndrome, I would just ask yourself a couple of questions. Do you have the curiosity and the desire to do the thing you're not doing? Now, if you're struggling with imposter syndrome and you don't have curiosity and desire, well, then I'd say you're probably barking up the wrong tree. You're probably kind of on the path that's not best suited for you. And then the second thing I would ask is, if you have both of those things and you're trying to move forward and you're still dealing with imposter syndrome, ask yourself where your focus isn't helping. Take some of the pressure off of your shoulders and just focus on the result and the thing that you're doing and the people that you're doing it for. And if you do both of those things, step by step, you will improve your relationship with what you're doing, and you will put imposter syndrome in the rearview mirror. It will pop up. It will always come up. But if you have these tools and you can do this self-inventory, you can actually figure out where you might be getting it wrong and where you could do better. So I would just say to focus on that, ask yourself those questions, pivot if you must, but if not, man, you got to step into your light. The world needs people like you. The world needs people that are curious and have a desire to help other people. At least that's been my experience so far. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I love you guys. We'll chat Monday on Morning Coffee.
drinking a German beer with a Cuban cigar. In the middle of Paris with a Dominican bar. Great head on her shoulder, she probably studied abroad. She transferred to Harvard from King's College in March. She says that I'm her favorite cause she admires the art. Michelangelo with the flow, Picasso with the bars. She's well put together like a piece by Gershwin. Renaissance style, tonight is picture perfect. So smile and pack your bags real good, baby, cause you'll be gone for a while. Wow, wow. Girl, tell me how you feel. What's your fantasy, yo? I see it's on the beach down in Mexico. You can put your feet up, be my senorita. We ain't gotta rush, just take it slow. You'll be in the highlight, soaking up the sunlight. Anything you want, it's yours. I'll have you living life like you should. You say you never had it so good. You never had it so good. Suffering from first class cabin fever. 5-hour layovers from Norway to Egypt. I'm to the point like the pyramids of Giza. Still I'm to the left like the tower out in Pisa. I'm feeling single, baby, I could use a feature. Swagger like Caesar, I'll get you a visa. We can go to Italy and maybe see the Colosseum. I'll be Da Vinci if you be my Mona Lisa. And I smile. So pack your bags real good, baby, cause you'll be gone for a while. Girl, tell me how you feel. What's your fantasy, yo? I see it's on the beach down in Mexico. You can put your feet up, be my senorita. We ain't gotta rush, just take it slow. You'll be in the highlight, soaking up the sunlight. Anything you want, it's yours. I'll have you living life like you should. You say you never had it so good. You never had it so good. You never had it so good. Well, I've been feeling singular. How about let's make it plural? Spin the globe, wherever it lands, that's where we'll go. We'll hit up Europe, yeah, and spend some euros. Or maybe visit Berlin, the walls with the murals. This is your month, baby, sign of the Virgo. Private reservations, glasses full of Merlot. A rosé, a burgundy, traveling like turbo. Brush up on your Espanol, we're Barcelona bound, so smile. So pack your bags real good, baby, cause you'll be gone for a while. Wow, wow. Girl,